There's a crazy money-making method that you need to do now, and people on leaderboard literally have infinite money, including this guy. I don't know what he was doing, but let me show you this money-making method that's not exploiting or hacking at all. Most of the people on leaderboard are exploiters, so if you want to get money like this without exploiting, well, keep watching. Oh yeah, by the way, from my previous video, here's Green Baldman. A lot of you guys are commenting on my previous video that I took his fishes by accident. He actually gave it to someone else by accident, but I do have some extras of the fishes that he lost, so there you go. Everyone in the comment section thought he gave it to me, including him, but I just gave him another extra fish that I had. It sells for 518,000, so I hope he enjoys that. Oh, dude, he's giving me even more free stuff. You're first obviously gonna need a good rod. Now, it doesn't really matter what level you are for this because there's so many really good rods, and I know not everyone has millions of dollars to spend on Poseidon's rod or the Heaven's rod or any other really expensive rods in the game that are really OP. Like the No Life rod is level capped to 500. The rod of Forgotten Fang is level capped to 750, and you gotta craft it. Seraphic rod is level 1000. You don't need any of these. Obviously, it might be a little better, but there is one of the most OP rods to make money, and anyone could get it at any level, and it's completely free. For the free rod, that is literally the best to make money, no matter any rod. This rod you have to get from sunken chests, and I'd recommend just server hopping till you get a server that's about to be the next hour. So this one, it's 3 days, 4 hours, and 53 minutes old, just so this helps you on finding these sunken chests whenever you're trying to server hop, since this rod is rare. Pretty much every hour this spawns, it stays for 10 minutes. So just read this because it's kind of difficult to understand. It will take another hour from that 10 minutes. So pretty much, let's say a sunken chest spawns exactly at an hour, then it despawns after 10 minutes. So that's an hour 10, and then after that, an hour later from that, another sunken chest will spawn, which means 2 hours and 10 minutes. And then after that, it's another 10 minutes plus another hour, which means 3 hours and 20 minutes. So make sure you check your server uptime like that. There's no like best way to tell when a sunken chest will spawn, but you could just keep server hopping, wait 10 or 20 minutes in each server so you don't have to wait an hour, and then get a sunken chest to spawn. Either that, or just ask around in my Discord server whenever there's sunken chest is in someone's server, and just join from that. That's the method I use. When a sunken chest does spawn like this, there are two different chests you could get. A normal one, which just looks like a normal chest, and a mythic sunken chest, which is like a purple chest. So obviously the better one is mythic, but to get the auric rod, which is a rod you would want that's completely free and the best money-making rod and no level cap at all from the normal sunken chest, it's a 0.25% chance to get, which is very rare. That's a 1 in 400 chance to get. Very rare. And then with the mythic chest, if you do get it, it's pretty difficult to get this too, but the chances are way better with this. To get the rod, it's a 2.5% chance, which is pretty much a 1 in 40 chance to get the auric rod, which is really good with the mythic chest. And just to show you guys how OP this auric rod is, it actually got buffed because of how crazy it is, dude. I don't even know why the devs buffed it. It was already so good. Honestly, it didn't even need a buff, but look at all these mutations it could get. This rod has a 100% chance to give a fish a mutation. So 100% you're either going to get a 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6x mutation. And let's just go to the mutations real quick. And there's chances on getting them, which are not even that hard. To get the 6x mutation, which is pretty much almost the best mutation in the entire game, not counting Roar or a Wrath, this mutation is a 20% chance to get. 5x, 20% chance to get. And then there should be a 4x right here, 20% chance to get. And then there's a 3x, also 20, and 2x, also 20% chance to get. You literally have equal chance on getting a 6x mutation and a 2x mutation and everything in between. So you have like the best chances on getting a mutation that's better than 2x, and 2x is already really good. Comparing that to other rods, like for example, the Rod of the Eternal King, which is #1 level locked, and on top of that, the Rod of the Eternal King is you gotta craft it, and it has a 20% chance of getting a greedy mutation, and just that mutation. There's no other mutation you could get, so only a 20% chance to get one mutation, and greedy is a 4x mutation. So you can see how OP that auric rod is without it being level capped or anything at all. It's really a free rod. So like free to play players, starter players, people that just got into this game, if they get that rod, it's really good. Just because of how rare it is, I actually don't have that rod yet, but I do do need to go grinding for sunken chests, so I could get that rod because I am low on money and I need to start making. But if you don't have that rod, or if it's too rare for you, don't worry, there are other options. One of the more easy rods to get is the Rod of the Depths, and I'm pretty sure almost everyone has it by now, or at least I hope almost everyone has it by now. And if you do have the Rod of the Depths, you could get the Abyssal enchant. I actually don't have the enchant on this rod anymore because I was doing some testing. Anyway, the Rod of the Depths or any other rod with the Abyssal enchant is actually really good. So if you don't have that many rods, or if you're a low level, don't even have the no life rod, getting the Abyssal enchant on whatever your main rod is a really good thing to do. The Abyssal mutation is a 3.5x, which is same as electric shock, almost a 4x, which is equivalent to a nuclear or a greedy. To get the Abyssal enchant, you don't even need to get an exalted relic. It's a normal enchant relic. You have a 10% chance to catch an Abyssal fish, which isn't the best chance, but I mean, you gotta work with what you got. It's an 80% chance to increase your fish's weight by 30% and a 20% chance to do a minus 40%, which probably isn't the best thing, but I mean, you still have an 80% chance, which is very good, to increase the weight by 30%. That increases the value of your fish, and on top of that, 10% chance to get Abyssal fish, so that increases it by 3.5x already. So I'd say put that enchant on the Rod of the Depths. I was actually using that same method when Rod of the Depths was the best rod, and I'm telling you, I got up to like 10 million with that, and I was even grinding like crazy, if I'm gonna be honest. So make sure you put the Abyssal enchant on the Rod of the Depths and grind as much as you can. As far as fishing location, if you want to get a ton of money, you want to go to the Grand Reef. Atlantis, even though it's very difficult to solve all the puzzles and go to the Kraken pool, the Grand Reef is still really OP, and not specifically the Grand Reef, but at the Grand Reef there's an Atlantean storm, which is still there, and it's still really good for money, literally the best for money. So you could like go right here, you can see this little like big whirlpool, right? This is the Atlantean storm, and you can just fish over here, catch a lot of different types of fish. You go to bestiary, and let me show you guys right over here. You don't have many types of fish, so if you have a lot of luck on getting the mythical or legendary, should be very easy. And both of these fishes sell for a ton of money, and they're really easy to get. Now let's say you are a little better in the game, you have some exalted relics, well then put a quantum enchant on whatever rod is your main rod. So let's say Rod of the Depths is still your main rod, but you did get lucky enough to get some exalted relics. You could use some of them if you're feeling lucky till you get a quantum enchant, and a quantum gives you a 25% chance to get a subspace mutation, which is one of the best mutations, and it gives you a 5x sell value. So that's a 1 in 4 chance to get a 5x mutation on a fish. If you do have these rods, obviously put on the no life rod, Rod of the Forgotten Fang, or the Seraphic rod. All of those are level locked, so for the Rod of the Forgotten Fang, you need to be level 750 and you gotta craft it. For the no life rod, level 500, and for the Seraphic rod, level 1000, which honestly isn't even worth it at this point. They really need to buff it again. And also for those wondering about the Atlantis rods, like for example the Kraken rod, Poseidon rod, and the Zeus rod, all these rods are really expensive, and obviously you have to complete some puzzles in Atlantis to get these rods. These rods were broken and now they're fixed, and they're actually pretty decent on getting money. I mean, the good part is it's not level locked, so if you are low level with a lot of money, which is very common, you could get these rods because it's probably better than the Rod of the Depths. So this is mostly for those low levels that have a lot of money to spend. It's a pretty interesting rod. So if you look at it, as a passive, we're a 10% chance to double any fish caught, and a 5% chance to apply a tentacle surge mutation, and after 50 catches, there will be a guaranteed legendary, mythical, or exotic fish from any location. I mean, it's not the craziest rod, but it has very interesting passive abilities. It is very expensive though, 1.33 million, so I don't know if this is really worth it, to be honest. The lure speed 60%, luck is 185, you know, the stats are pretty decent. But for the tentacle surge mutation, being a 5% chance to get from the Kraken rod is honestly so mid for it being a 1.5x. Like, that needs to be buffed. Then you got the Poseidon rod. This one's actually a little more money, 1.55 million, and this one's actually really good. So if you look at it, when you catch a fish, it has a 25% chance to directly reward the user with the 75% of the fish's base value in money. So like every time you catch a fish, you have a 25% chance where it pretty much much just gives you some money for how much the fish is worth, which is really good. But on top of that, it has even more passive. A 5% chance to get Poseidon's ghost to spawn, which is kind of like the Raw of the Depths ghost. But this one will give you higher weight, ranging from 75% to 150% increase. So this makes it very easy to get giant fish, and giant fishes always sell for a ton of money. And on top of that, it will also give you the King's Blessing mutation. You could pair it with like a Sea King enchant or something, and dude, you're gonna get crazy giant fishes like almost every time. The stats are also pretty decent too. So I mean, this is a really good rod if you have a lot of money but you're a low level. Like, for sure, get this. And lastly, for Atlantis, you have the Zeus rod. Being the most expensive rod, it's a $1.7 million rod. All right, this rod's pretty good too. The stats are all right, and if you look at it, boys, it has a 10% chance to turn into a nearby area into a thunderstorm. And then in the thunderstorm, you have a 95% chance, pretty much 100% chance, to get a electric shock mutation. The electric shock mutation is a 3.5x, so that's almost as if you pretty much spawning in nukes every time. Nukes are a 4x, and this one's a 3.5. But like, dude, you have a 10% chance. Think of it, pretty much a 10% chance to get a nuke spawned, because it's really similar. Not only that, though, it's going to double the effect of shakes and will increase your luck for mythical fish, so you could catch rarer fish. It's really good. And then the remaining 5% chance from the 95 being the electric shock mutation, the 5% chance will give you the charred mutation, pretty much burning the fish. The charred mutation actually lowers the value of your fish, but I mean, it makes sense. It's only a 5% chance of that happening, which is very unlikely. So yeah, that one is like half of the fish's value. But then again, you could just appraise it and get back the value, so it doesn't really matter too much. This rod also has relatively strong control resilience, as it does show 0.25, which is a 55% width of the bar, bro. That is actually crazy. Resilience is also 20%, so it makes it really easy to catch a lot of different types of fishes, especially with this max kg. So for the rods, I highly recommend go for the Rod of the Depths if you guys are just starting off. Like, that's one of the top rods to go for. It is pretty expensive, but you know, go for the normal things. Get the Trident rod first, and then go for the other rods. Just starting off the game, carbon rod, steady rod, then Trident rod. You guys know the deal. But for sure, the Auric rod, after sunken chest spawns, get that rod, bro. It's actually so OP. I need to get it myself. It's just so rare. I don't know. I have probably opened like at least 100 mythical sunken chests, and my luck is just so bad where I didn't even get it yet. I don't know. I guess you just gotta keep trying, you know? Anyway, that's gonna be it for this video. Go make your millions of dollars, because it's actually so OP fishing in that area with all these rods. That's gonna be it for this video. See you later. Peace.